Hi, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group at Compass. I wanted to chat with you today about pricing your listings and how the market is doing in relation to that. So right now we're seeing a lot of properties being reduced in price. Whether or not that is a change in the market or it is the time of year because we're coming into the end of the summer season, it could be a little bit of both. But I wanted to talk to you about how to have those conversations with your sellers and also how to talk to your buyers about negotiating with a property that may not appear to be in the price range that they're looking for. Number one, talking to sellers about pricing. We see a lot of people that had previously had their home on the market a few years ago. Let's say 2021 to 2023, for instance. There were a lot of people that were able to sell homes at a very high price, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking price. And there were also people that chose to take their homes off the market at that time, thinking that they would just jump in at a later date. I'm running into this a little bit myself, and while I really feel for these people, what I want to talk to you about is having those tough conversations. So, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people would tell you the same thing, during that period of time, it was an artificial market. Hopefully, we never run into that situation again. We never run into something like COVID again. It is truly an artificial market. It happened very quickly, very fast, and we also had extremely low interest rates. So people were able to stretch far beyond where they thought they could be. And so that those things coupled together created a frenzy. In fact, if you remember, if you were around at that time, people were sometimes lined up around the block to get into properties. And now we're seeing something entirely different. We are seeing properties stay on the market longer. Now, typically in most parts of the U.S., 5 to 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. Once you get to 6 months, then you're really into a buyer's market. Here in Austin, Texas, it's even shorter than that. So 3.5 to 4 months, you're into a buyer's market. Right now, depending on area, and everything is local, folks. So everything is local, meaning that in one particular area, you might see a lot more inventory, you might see longer days on market, and you might see more price reductions. And in another area, you might see, and especially in lower price ranges, you might see still that situation where you're having multiple offers, which is great for sellers. Properties are always evaluated by an appraiser in a historical fashion. So they're going to look at the last 3 months, maybe the last 6 months at most in sales. So even if your seller is holding up for a really high price, even if someone came along and wanted it close to that price, chances are it's probably not going to appraise if you're able to do your CMAs correctly, your comparative market analysis. So what we want to try to caution our clients to look at those charts of what the sales looked like. Look at that huge bell curve that we had in 2021 to 2023 and lop off the whole top of that mountain, because that was an artificial market. That's not what we're in right now, and we don't expect interest rates to go back to those historical lows anytime in the future that we can foresee. We will probably see prices slowly creep up, but right now we have an overabundance of inventory, and in some areas we have a lot of inventory. So everything being local, you need to be hyper vigilant in speaking with your clients on a regular basis and talking to them about the market, talking to them about their neighborhood, and at the same time, have them think like a buyer. When a buyer comes into their neighborhood, what are their options? If there's no other options in that price range, maybe they will get a higher price if that's where they're looking. But if there's a lot of other inventory that they can choose from at a more reasonable price, then chances are you're not going to get many showings. And that will be a telltale sign that they're overpriced for this market. Now, other opportunities for your sellers, maybe it's not the right time to sell. If they're willing to rent the property out, it's possible that they could get enough to cover their nut and to feel good about holding on to it for a few years. But if that's not the case, then you really need to reevaluate the price point. Again, this is Linda Welsh from Linda Welsh Realty Group. Happy to help you with your business, and I'd love to chat.